Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game as a match preview. West Ham United against Cardiff City. The Bluebirds, which were tipped to finish bottom of the Premier League, started like they were going to finish bottom of the Premier League. But Gonzo, what's your thoughts on them? They're starting to have a steely underbelly, if you like.
Yes, indeed. He's done a remarkable job, Neil Warnock. Absolutely remarkable job. I thought the initial job was remarkable to get them promoted in the first place. There were a lot of teams swimming around in that championship pool who had a lot more money than Cardiff, yet somehow they got promoted. And to be fair, they were first or second at the start of it. Then Wolves sort of, really stretched their legs because they had a lot of money. But still, Cardiff for a long, long time were in second as well. So they did miraculous things getting promoted, spent next to no money. I thought they brought Reed in, didn't they, who'd scored a lot of goals down in the championship as well, but not spent any money, like us or Wolves been promoted. Fulham, for instance, they'd all spent, big bucks. So, they're in 16th at the moment. They take 16th, certainly would. But, so good luck to them. And he's just done well. He's a nasty, gritty manager, Neil Warnock, but very effective.
What do you make of their season so far then? Like I said, they look like they were... A lot of people expect them to finish bottom. I am one of them. I expect them to finish bottom. But they're making a go of it, if you like.
Yeah, what do I make of their start? I don't know. I mean, they are a weird club. I find Neil Warnock quite a weird fella. The owner, Vincent Tan's like a weird sort of Bond villain, isn't he, really? He's an oddball. Changed their kit. They were Bluebirds, but he changed their kit to red. There was a big uproar from the fans, and he changed it back to blue. So I think the management structure is quite a weird one. In terms of their form, as you say, they started really, really badly, but then they picked up. I'm watching Match of the Day last night. I think they played on Friday, didn't they? Played against Wolves. Watching Match of the Day last night, they said they'd won 3 of their 4 home games, or something like 3 of the last 4 home games. Something like that. So clearly they're very good at home. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I would struggle to say a good team, but effective at what they do. Long throw-ins and headers and bully boy tactics. Harry Arter was a good, effective signing for them. And unfortunately, it meant we didn't sign him as well, because that was someone I didn't want to sign and someone that was linked with us when David Moyes was in charge. But he's been a good signing for them, albeit on loan. They said a couple of weeks ago they'd make the transfer permanent if they stayed up. I sort of chuckled, but not chuckling anymore. They might stay up.
Yeah, they're a strange one. I don't like Neil Warnock as a manager. I think he's one of those people that if he's not in charge of the club you support, you probably dislike him. Actually, Colin, we'll call him Colin. Those that know. They're very effective. Is the right word to use it for them. They're very hard working, I think, and they know how to turn the game into a battle, if you like. They know how. Wolves like to try and play the counter-attack football, nice enough football, but Cardiff managed to turn that game into let's get the ball in there and see what you can do in there a little bit. They're very quick at getting the ball into the box, if you like, as well. And it's difficult because when the ball does get thrown in, if they don't win the first one, they're very good at winning the second one, sometimes even the third one, whatever it takes to get the ball in the back of the net. And this is going to be a completely different game for West Ham as to what we've faced this season, really. I think we've faced organised sides, we've faced good sides. I think now we're way to face a side that's got their sleeves rolled up and they're ready for an absolute battle on Tuesday night. We're saying about, can they stay up? Do you think they will stay up, or do you think they'll just fall short come May?
Well, every time I think something opposite happens. So, it looked like Huddersfield was sort of rallying, and I had a look at the Premier League table before we started the show. Huddersfield are back down there, sort of thing. Fulham are down there. Didn't think they would be at the start of the season because of Mitrovic and Schürrle and Sessegnon and whatnot. They're down there, but you don't know about the Ranieri factor. So I just think it's really, really hard to say. They should be down there because you would expect them to, because they've spent no money for a couple of seasons, really. But I tell you what, it will be on certainly on par with what David Warner gets a lot of plaudits for keeping Huddersfield up, and rightly so. If Neil Warnock does the same, he will deserve just as much credit as David Warner, albeit with a different style of play. If I had to put a fiver on it, I would say they will go down.
Yeah, I think they'll still go down. I still think there is a chance they'll finish bottom, actually. I think the bottom of the table is very wide open. But they're not going to go down without a fight anyway. If they do go down, it's purely because of a lack of ability. That's it. It's got nothing to do with effort, commitment, etc. It'll be because on paper they're just not quite good enough to stay up. They signed Bobby Reed. I really like Bobby Reed. I would like to see him here at West Ham, banging in the goals for Bristol City last season. But apart from that, who do you consider to be their biggest threat for us on Tuesday? I mean, I know what are you laughing at?
Well, because I know my answer already. Yeah, but yeah, that's why I'm laughing at what I'm going to say, because it's a ridiculous answer which shouldn't really come into football. It reminds me of what was the geezer's name at Stoke? Rory Delap. I remember when Felipe Scolari was manager of Chelsea. Of course, Felipe Scolari was a wonderful Brazilian manager, Brazilian footballer, World Cup winner, and someone that passed the ball. And after he saw Delap, he said, "It's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a footballer who was more skillful with his hands and his feet before in my life." And I thought it was really good. So anyway, Gunnarsson, who did score at the weekend, could well be the biggest threat with his massive long throw-ins. And I tell you what, at London Stadium, he's got a hell of a run-up with all that lovely lush green carpet. He can crack it. It's like 100 metres before he launches the ball. So, I mean, he might even throw it out for another throw-in at the other side.
Yeah, Patterson's massive for them. The long throws are one of the reasons, but he just knows what to do. He's just one of these strikers that can just get in the way, and he is just a nuisance. He's a bit like Glenn Murray in that sense for me. He's not got all the talent in the world. He's not the best striker in the world, but he just knows how to be a nuisance. And when you watch the goal against Wolves, it was the equaliser. The keeper comes for it, and Patterson, he's got no intention of going for the ball. You can see his teammates, so he thinks, I'm just going to stand in between the two of you and let you walk in the back of me here, and then my teammates have got a free header. And that's exactly what happens, and the ball ends up in the back of net. Perfect striker play from him. I think he's their threat up front, and I worry a little bit about us, but we'll come on to that in a second. But that's it from Cardiff. You can probably tell Sal and Gonzo aren't the most knowledgeable when it comes to the Welsh side. Our boats are running on Tuesday before the game, so if you fancy a beer and a barbecue, you can get your ticket. The link is in the description below. Kids go free, of course, as they do all season. Gonzo, on to our side. And the one position, we say never change our winning side, but Pellegrini might just be doing that because he has indicated that he has concerns over Zabaleta being able to play every game in December. So just for the pure something to talk about, let's assume Zabaleta is being rotated for this one. Now, while we'd expect Antonio to start in his place, hence why he wasn't included in the squad, he was being kept for this game, etc. Is that who you would like to see play at right back, or would you like to try something a little bit different?
Well, we'll talk about that, but I wouldn't want to see that many changes for this one. But you've got to remember, Cardiff had an additional day's rest to us, and we've had a big journey down from Newcastle. I don't know whether we took the train or the plane or walked or what. I don't know how we got back, to be perfectly blunt, but I would hope we flew. So they've got an extra day's rest, but I do feel this is the easier game because we have Palace coming up. As you say, we're in this tough run. So I'd actually prefer the rotation to happen against Crystal Palace because I think that's a harder game for us to win. But if, as you say, then it is going to be Antonio at right back. And this is going to be the game where you switch things around. I thought there was something not quite right with Arnautovic. Actually, Arnautovic's best spell in the game was as I was sort of criticising him on the forum, and his last 10 minutes before I got taken off for about his best spell of the game. So shows what I know, but I think he was taken off to be safe, but it looked like he needed a rest. Lots of people were saying attitude. I'm not so sure because there was that lovely dribble he did and tried to dribble past everyone, ran down the right. But if I was going to rest him, it would probably be for this game. And for the same reason, I keep the midfield the same. I would introduce Wilshere, but give it another game. So give Wilshere this time a bit longer off the bench. I just think we use this game to get people ready for Saturday.
Okay, so you'd keep Zabaleta in as well for this one?
I would, yeah.
But if you had to change him, who would you play right back? Would you play Antonio?
I think I should know more. I knew you were going to ask me this question, but I think you'd have to. I can't really think of too many else.
The only other options I think you've got is looking at the youth players. You've got Ben Johnson, and then you've got the curveball, I think, of Reece Oxford, who did play right back in Germany, and he's obviously sitting around doing nothing. He's done what Hernandez has done and said, I want game time or I want to go. I want one of the two. So that's probably your three options, unless you're really going to mix it up and change the starting 11 about or something and put Pedro Obiang there or go something wild.
Okay, I really like Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's good, but if he is going to play Diangana, as I suspect, is he going to put two youngsters down that right-hand side? And I would include Oxford in that as well. Are you going to play Diangana and Johnson, or Diangana and Oxford down that right-hand side? Probably not. Johnson's quite a stocky lad, quite a big lad. Reece Oxford's not filled out as much as you might have hoped. He's still quite started. Maybe he's not the guy to put in there. He might put Antonio in just for his brute strength because he's a strong guy. Possibly I would still go with that. just through lack of options. But it does make you wonder why Byram is sent out on loan, you know.
To be Oxford, I would start, actually. I would say to him, look, at the end of the day, he's 22 now, maybe. He was 21, maybe. I think he's 21. This is now the time. The kid's got to be playing football now. He's no longer a kid, actually. He's now young adult. He's got to be playing football. He played right back in Germany. He did all right playing there. And I think when Cardiff, like you said, they talk about the long throws or aerial approach. I think actually if we can almost have a third centre back on the pitch, it's only going to benefit us from set pieces, etc., etc. He doesn't necessarily have to focus that much going forward. Just let Snodgrass, who was playing right midfield on Saturday, let Snodgrass worry about the attacking side from the right-hand side of the pitch. You just stay right back, stay composed, etc. And this is his chance. But if he does play Zabaleta, what I will say is the game before Zabaleta is rested for, he's got to get booked. He's on 4 bookings now. We need to be a bit clever about this. Get him his 5th booking, get the suspension over and done with for the game he's rested, so that later in December he doesn't get booked and then have to miss a game we were actually wanting to play him in. I think we need to be a little bit wise here. I'm sure that's what we did with Snodgrass, because he got booked, then missed the Man City game. And I do think that was part of the plan, to be honest, so that then he had the whole December with no suspension threat hanging over his head. And I think we need to do that with Zabaleta. With Arnautovic, I would probably rest him for this one, actually. I don't think he's fit. He just doesn't look fit. But saying that, sometimes he does run about and he looks okay, but there's just something funny there. And I think I would rest both of them for this one. But if you had to rest Arnautovic, who would you be bringing in? Is it an obvious answer? Is it time for Andy Carroll?
Probably. Well, but maybe it is against Cardiff. You know, I hate to say it, particularly as the way we've been playing, but maybe needs must if they're going to be chucking corners and throw-ins and all the rest of it in there. Maybe having him in there to defend might help. Also, might give them something to think about as well. You know, if Warnock's going to give the team talk, it was quite funny. I was listening to Warnock last season, and Junior Hoylett, who just scored a wonderful goal, had been scoring some nice goals for Cardiff last season, and he scored a couple of real worldy efforts. And it was just after Neves had scored his goal in the Championship last season. You remember the goal? It was a ridiculous distance out, beautiful, beautiful goal. And Neil Warnock was really at pains to play down his team's skills. Remember him, because he said, well, we're not the type of team that will ever challenge the Goal of the Month award. We're not that type of team. We like to get in and be gritty. And actually, the interviewer said, well, to be fair, Junior Hoylett's just scored a couple of worldies. So you could see he's playing it down. So you just get from that. In his team talk, he probably says, "Come on, get at these prima donnas. They got a Brazilian in there. They got they got a Mexican. They've got this, that, and the other. They don't like it up and all that sort of stuff." And I think if he's giving that type of team talk, and actually we do wheel out Andy Carroll, I think that might send a little message to them that actually you need to be careful as well. Yeah, I think it's a good shout. I would if I was resting him. Yeah.
Yeah, I would play Carroll as well. It's more also it's because, you know, they're actually quite suspect at set pieces themselves, despite being quite good at it going forward. Defensively, for some reason, they're quite open at set pieces. So that'd be good to get Carroll in. But you almost put Carroll in saying, look, the only reason you're starting is because Arnautovic needs a rest. You're not starting here on merit. You're not starting here on form. You're not starting here because he deserves to be dropped. He's been rested. He's not being dropped. So as far as we're concerned, Saturday, Arnautovic is starting unless you do something special. Unless you have a 10 out of 10 game, you're back on the bench again. So if you want to start against Palace, there's only one thing you do here, Andy, and that is you do a 10 out of 10, a man-of-match performance, and you give Pellegrini a headache. Because that's exactly what Hernandez has done at St. James's Park. He's gone out there, scored his 2 goals, and virtually turned around to Pellegrini and said, well, you can't drop me now, can you? I'm starting against Cardiff, thank you very much. If either of us are getting dropped, it's him, because he's half fit. I'm fully fit. I've scored 2. He's not scored any. I'll take my place against Cardiff. Thank you very much, Manuel. And that's what Carroll's got to do. The challenge is for Carroll to do that. So then come Saturday against Palace, actually, our manager is sitting there with 3 strikers, all in decent form, thinking, which one do I drop and who do I piss off here? It's a perfect motivation to have. And then swings and roundabouts, because then come Saturday, you say to Navic, well, Carroll's just performed during the week, so, you know, an off day from you, and suddenly you're on the bench, etc. You can never have too much competition in your squad. But coming away from the starting 11, Gonzo, is this now our opportunity? Forgetting about form and back-to-back wins, we'll discuss that in a second. But in terms of home wins, London Stadium, is this where we need to go on a little bit of a run, if you like, and start making the London Stadium actually a difficult place to come? Because now 2.5 seasons in, and we've not done that yet.
Yeah, I would think so, and particularly with back-to-back home games as well. So, so the players get to go home, which is the big thing. It's not, there'll be some teams, I guess, who have got both away games and maybe are spending the whole week in hotels or whatever. That's a hell of an advantage. Cardiff have got the same. I don't know who Crystal Palace are playing midweek, but we got to use the advantage. And I think as well, it's not just it being back-to-back games, it's playing the football. That was great to watch against Newcastle. It was lovely to see, the way Anderson carried the ball. And for that reason, I mean, he has to play. He has to play, by the way. You can't leave your, whatever, I know we might argue who was the best player. You can't leave your best attacking player out, of which he possibly was, him or Anders. You can't leave him out there. Can't muck around with the centre-backs. And it's stuff like that does give you the momentum. So the spine of the team has to stay the same, and it would be with Arnautovic, but as you say, there is that little niggling doubt about his fitness. So yeah, I mean, now is the time. Now is the time to win. Let's be fair, our next 7 games, to win 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I think the home form's important now, actually. I still think people lick their lips a little bit. I think Neil Warnock actually will be licking their lips thinking, this ground is the ground we want to get to. If you have an away game, they've lost their last 4 away games in the Premier League. He's looking at this thinking, this is an opportunity. We score early, that crowd will turn on them, etc. And that would have happened last season, the season before. I'm not sure it will happen on Tuesday night. But Warnock won't know that. He won't be expecting that. That's not what he's going to be telling these players. He's going to be telling them the exact opposite. I think this gives us an opportunity to, like you said, get back-to-back home wins, 3 wins in the Premier League on a trot, and it's just try and make the London Stadium a bit of a difficult place for away sides to come. Because recently it's been since we've moved in, it's been a playground. It's almost been like a home game for the away team sometimes, and I think it's time to change that. I did actually forget, the starting 11, Gonzo Creswell went off injured against Newcastle with his hamstring. Let's assume he's not fit. Would you be putting Masuaku in, or would you be putting Ogbonna in?
No, I've seen Ogbonna at left back, and I think defense. I think if we were to do, let's say that the 2 things, the one of them you suggested was Reece Oxford, and the other one, let's say we did play at Ogbonna there. This is not the way Pellegrini wants to go, because you're just going to have no attacking at all. And fullbacks are attacking. It's such a shame for Cresswell, because he looked like he was about to make that place his own for the foreseeable future. I was wondering if Masuaku would ever get back in, but there you go. I think you've got to play Masuaku because we still need him to get forward. We cannot. And Pellegrini won't. We cannot sit back against his team. We go and attack them. I said the same thing against Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? We've got this manager now. Let's just go and attack. Let's have a go. And he's far from ideal, Masuaku, but we have to have a go for it. Also, let's be fair. Whoever the right winger is for Cardiff, he's not going to be that great. They'll cut and paste that bit, won't they? After he scored a hat trick. But yeah, come on. Masuaku should be good enough to handle whatever Cardiff have to throw at us.
Completely agree. I don't think defensively have a lot to do against Cardiff. Cardiff played like a 3-5-2 formation in a way against Wolves, which is a bit different. So he should only have 1 player he's up against, and it could actually free Anderson up if they play it rightly down that side. January 2017, since West Ham had back-to-back wins in the Premier League, not just at home, just in the Premier League, nearly 2 years, Gonzo. We're running out of opportunities to stop it hitting the 2-year mark. Are you confident we're finally going to get rid of that little record on Tuesday night?
I should be, but it's hard because we don't know the team. I mean, he's shown he can do that, Pellegrini. What on earth is he going to put out? I just don't know. I don't know. I think if the team is missing Zabaleta, if it's missing Arnie, if it's missing Anderson, for instance, then I'll suddenly become less confident. But as things stand, if it's just 1 or 2 changes, I'm confident we'll beat them. Yes.
Yeah. Likewise, I think on paper we win. I don't know if them playing on the Friday and us playing a long away game on the Saturday is going to have much impact. Hopefully not. We'll find out on Tuesday. But like I said, there is uncertainties. But the thing with Zabaleta is I'm quite relaxed about that, because that's a thing that I don't even think it's an issue. This is only an issue because Pellegrini's making an issue. Because if Pellegrini hadn't said, I need to rest Zabaleta, me and you would not be discussing it tonight. We'd be saying, the defence is fine, etc. We're only discussing it because our manager has said he can't play all the games in December. It might be that Pellegrini actually thinks he can play tomorrow night. He can actually maybe play 3 games this week, and it's later on in December where it's really going to hit him hard and he's going to have to take away, because 3 games in a week doesn't seem too much yet. It's later in December around the Christmas time when you do get fixtures coming at you thick and fast where he will have to be rotated. But so will half the team anyway. I don't know if I'd want to see an average play 3 games in 1 week in December, for example. So that's only a concern because Pellegrini's made it one. He's clearly got a game plan with Antonio. We had a behind-the-doors friendly against Brentford 2 weeks ago. Antonio played right back in that game. So Pellegrini has been preparing for this match for Antonio at right back for a couple of weeks now. He wasn't in the squad on Saturday. I would assume what Pellegrini's done here is not just keep him fresh. I think Pellegrini's probably had him playing right back in training for the last week or something and said, well, there's no point you being in the squad. You're now a right back. So I don't need 2 right backs in my squad. Zabala's my right back, and I don't want you playing right wing because we've just been training you to play right back. The last thing I want is to give you a role as an attacker. You need to have the defensive right back duty fresh in your mind, if you like. I'm quite confident Pellegrini's been working on Antonio, if you like, in training, get him into a right back position, and I think that's why we didn't see him. Nothing to do with protecting him, just so that he doesn't get confused, if you like to say. No confusion here. You're right back. You're now a right back until we have a solution to our rotation problem. He is that solution. Gonzo, you're confident. I'm confident. Cardiff fans, let us know in the comments below if you're confident. Come to London Stadium. May I get your score prediction, please?
Yeah, I think we win. I think we win 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah,
we haven't had many clean sheets, but do you think we're going to get another 1-2 in the row?
I do. I'm trying to be sensible. Save myself getting trolled. I think we might win 4-0 to be fair, but yeah, I'll go with 2-0.
I'm going to say 3-1. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet. Do us aerially, us in the air defense? Does that worry you? Are you quite confident? Because I've seen a lot of people quite confident. I'm quite worried about us in terms of being good in the air. I don't think Diop and Balbuena are all that we think they are.
No, I'd agree, and I do know you. I do understand your concern, but I do think Fabianski gives them a bit more confidence. He comes out, he punches well. I'm sort of done with being worried. I've had so many years of being worried. How many times did I sit here and say, in the years past, I want the opposition to worry about us. I'm sick of worrying. I said it before we had Pellegrini or anything. I love what you just said. I didn't know that when you was telling me that 2 weeks ago we had a friendly against Brentford behind closed doors and he's playing right back in preparation for a game. I love that. That sounds great. That is preparation. What's that from? Anyway, who cares? But I love the fact that happens. How many times have your manager said, "Oh, we take it 1 game at a time"? Absolute nonsense. To plan and to be prepared. I think that's wonderful. No, let them worry about us. I'm feeling more confident the longer this preview goes on.
2-0 from Gonzo. It's 3-1 from me. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but I think we'll score plenty. And let us know in the comments below the team you would like to see if you'd make any changes. Also, give us your score prediction. Me and Gonzo will be back on Tuesday night, straight after the game, sitting chatting, hopefully discussing 3 points. Happy mood again. 2 games in a row will be happy. That's unusual. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll see you on Tuesday night after the game on the